What up, YouTube? T Movies here. Now, with Halloween coming up, since I did my top favorite horror movie directors and even horror movie actors, now I'm going to do my top 10 favorite horror movie actresses. Now, you know, I I decided to maybe save this one for the best for last because this is actually the best one, and there's there's so many great horror icon actresses out there. I mean, whether it's past or present, and lots of really great ones. So, with that being said, here's my top 10 favorite horror movie actresses. All right, coming in at number 10, it's going to be Margaret Kidder. Now, before she, of course, played the iconic love interest in Superman and as Lois Lane in the Superman films, she's done horror. Like, she was in the original Black Christmas film. She was in Animal Horror. And most recent, not so long, like 10 years ago, she was also in Rob Zombie's Halloween sequel. So there's that. I mean, Margaret Kidder, she was great. I mean, it's a shame that that Kidder is like no longer with us, but she's been in some really interesting horror. I mean, I really quite like the original Black Christmas. Of course, the original Amityville Horror is a classic, and she was great in those. And it was pretty cool seeing her Rob Zombie's Halloween sequel as well. So there's that. And she was also in a horror film called Sisters, which I don't think I've ever seen. But anyway, coming in at number 9, it is PJ Souls. Now, PJ Souls, of course, played the role of Linda, who ended up pretty much getting killed off with that guy in the original Halloween. And she also appeared in the original Carrie as a role of Norma. She also appeared in other stuff like Uncle Sam, Tooth Fairy, The Devil's Rejects, Alone in the Dark too, and she even had like a little cameo in the recent Halloween film, which I thought was pretty cool to see. I mean, PJ Souls, she's in a she's not really that much of an icon, but she's been some really good stuff, and she's actually great in them. And I quite liked her as playing Jamie Lee Curtis's best friend in the original Halloween. She was great in that role, and she like Uncle Sam is kind of a messed up film. Of course, there's a horror movie about an evil tooth fairy, so there's that too, and she was in that. I mean, yeah, PJ Souls is really talented, and it's pretty cool to see her still working and all that. I mean, hey, PJ Souls she's a queen. So anyway, all right, coming in at number 8, it's going to be Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Now, she's done some really interesting horror films that I actually like. Some not so great, but she was, of course, in Final Destination 3, which is probably my favorite out of the Final Destination franchise. I really get a kick out of Part 3. She was also in the remake of Black Christmas, which I actually like more than most people. She was in the prequel to The Thing, which isn't that great, but she was actually pretty decent in it. She was also in 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I really ate up. I thought that movie was great. But she's been in some not so good horror movies as well. She was in The Ring 2, and she was in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Yeah. But of course, her best horror role, I gotta say, is in Final Destination 3. I mean, Final Destination 3 will pretty much show you to be careful with roller coasters. I mean, yeah. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead was great in Part 3. And yeah, I mean, if you guys ever see Final Destination 3, it's really cool. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead, that girl is just awesome. And she's still doing some, like she hasn't really done a horror movie for a while. I kind of hope she comes back to the horror genre. But, hey, she's still awesome. I mean, alright, coming in at number 7, it's going to be Danielle Harris. Now, Danielle Harris, not only is she incredibly attractive, I'm not going to lie, Danielle Harris is probably one of the most good-looking screen queen there is. But she's been in some really cool horror films. She's been, of course, she played Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 4 and 5. She appeared in Rob Zombie's Halloween films. She was also in See No Evil 2 with Kane. Urban Legend. She was also in She also appeared in like the last like couple of the Hatchet sequels. So there's that. I mean, I'm still still holding out hope that that Danielle Harris will return as Jamie Lloyd for another Halloween film, but I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. But Danielle Harris she's still dynamite, and glad to see her still doing films and all because I've always adored Paris, and I have a like she is one of my celebrity crushes, so there's that. But yeah. Anyway, all right, coming in at number 6, it is the actress Felissa Rose. Now, she of course starred in the horror film Sleepaway Camp. She was in Return Sleepaway Camp, Satan's Background, Silent Night, Zombie Night, the film Death House with Kane Hodder. She's in a horror film called Camp Dead, and she had a very gruesome death in Victor Crowley. I mean, she really ate her. She really ate up her phone. I'll just put it that way. I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, she's a, and not to mention she's actually still pretty good looking. Like that woman is, I believe, in her 40s or something. Can't remember what she is now, but that woman still looks great. And she was actually pretty good in lots of cool horror film. I mean, if you guys never seen Sleepaway Camp, that movie will make you not want to go camping. I mean, it's a really creepy flick, and yeah. And Felissa Rose, she was great in the two, so they're that. Alright. Coming in at number 5, it is Dee Wallace. Now, she's been in some really good horror films and some not so good horror stuff. She, of course, played the mother in Cujo. She also was in, I just saw this recent on the Sci-Fi Network. Good kills, but not that good of a movie. She appeared in Critters Attack. Oh, not a good film. She was actually good at it. She was in Rob Zombie's Lord of Salem, Alligator 2, the remake of Halloween she was in, and not so long ago I just saw Dream from Hell, and she appeared in that too. I mean, Dee Wallace, of course, is also best known for playing Elliot's mother in E.T., so which is not a horror film, but still. Yeah, I mean, Dee Wallace, like, I think her badass role is definitely in Cujo. I mean, she's trying to do everything in her power to protect her kid from a man-eating dog, and like it, like now, I mean, Cujo is pretty much just her and her on-screen son are in the car trying to pretty much to get away from a killer dog. So yeah, and Cujo is just a classic right there. And not to mention she was in House of the Dead. I mean, yeah, Dee Wallace, she's a dynamite and definitely another horror legend. All right, coming in at number 4, it is Heather Langenkamp. Now, she of course played the lead in the lead character of Nancy in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. She also appeared in Part 3 and New Nightmare. She also appeared in the horror film Shocker, Hellraiser Judgment, and Shock. Oh, I already said Shock. And The Sub. I mean, she's even opened up to reprise her role for another Nightmare on Elm Street, which I'm actually down to see. I'd love to see her come back for another Nightmare on Elm Street. But she was, like, I think she gave probably one of the best horror performances I've seen in a horror film with Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, she was great in Nightmare on Elm Street. And, like, I think those are probably my favorite roles of hers. Like I said, she's been in other stuff too, but Nightmare on Elm Street is definitely what I've known her more for. And, of course, the aforementioned Hellraiser Judgment, which is not that good, but yeah, her role as Nancy will and always will be her best role. Alright. Coming in at number 3, it is Neve Campbell. Now she never really started in that too many horror films. Like her major roles have always been playing Cindy Cat in the Scream franchise, and she was of course in The Craft, which by the way they're remaking. Now Neve Campbell, I adore Neve Campbell. I mean, her as Cindy Campbell is like Dave Campbell is such a badass as a role. Cindy Campbell, she plays that role great. I mean, her trying to take down, find a way to take down Ghostface is pretty cool to watch. And Dave Campbell is she's dominant. And not only, And not only is she attractive as well, I mean, if you guys haven't seen her in Wild Things, which isn't a horror film, but if you guys haven't seen Neve Campbell in Wild Things, watch Neve Campbell in Wild Things. You'll thank me later. But yeah, Neve Campbell is just awesome. Now, so hoping we get a Scream 5, but without Wes Craven and all, I don't know if that will happen. Alright, coming in at number 2, it's a horror icon, and that is Janet Leigh. Now, her daughter is also a horror icon, and I'm going to talk about her at my number 1 pick. Now, Janet Leigh, of course, starred in one of the most iconic horror movies of the 60s. She, of course, was in the original Psycho, where she of course, ended up getting killed off pretty much halfway through the movie. Like, you'll think that she's the main character, but yeah, she ends up getting killed off. I mean, I remember when I first saw Psycho and I saw that scene, I was like, wait, she's the main character, but she ends up getting killed off? That was a weird scene right there. But of course, she also appeared in other stuff like Halloween H2O, the original Fog. But obviously, her most iconic role will always be in Psycho. I mean, such a really great role. I mean, the shower scene is just, that alone is just creepy. I mean, lots of people tell you that because of that scene, they're always terrified of going in the shower. I mean, yeah, this made, like, Psycho made shower taking for what Jaws made for people going to the ocean. I'll put it that way. But yeah, Janet Leigh she's definitely a horror icon in her own rights. And I mean, I guess horror icon, like, horror really runs in the household because my number 1 pick is actually Janet Leigh's daughter, and my number 1 favorite horror scream queen of all time goes to Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, years before she did Freaky Friday, Christmas with the Cranks, and Lies and all, she was a major horror icon with the original John Carpenter's Halloween, Prom Night, The Fog, Terror Train. I mean, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, she's a dynamite, and of course, horror. Of course, horror runs in the household because, of course, her mother is the aforementioned Janet Leigh from Psycho. So it was pretty cool seeing to see Jamie Lee Curtis having a mother who was in the horror business, and now she ended up being in it. Now, of course, she ended up returning. And I should mention, Jamie Lee Curtis ended up reprising her role as Laurie Strode in loads of other Halloween sequels, and including the most recent one. And her role as Laurie Strode is great. I think she gives such a great performance as Laurie. Laurie is definitely her iconic role, and I mean, The Fog and Prom Night, they're cool too. But her best role will always be in Halloween, and of course, and not to mention, she was on the horror show Scream Queens. I forgot to mention that. Which, by the way, on an episode of Scream Queens, they feature like a psycho montage, like a psycho homage that featured a killer, attacking Jamie Lee Curtis' character in the shower, which was kind of like a homage to Psycho. So I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, as for Jamie Lee Curtis herself, she's awesome, and of course, cannot wait to see Jamie Lee Curtis back in Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. So, anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, Margaret Kidder. 9, PJ Soles. 8, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. 7, Danielle Harris. 6, Felissa Rose. 5, Dee Wallace. 4, Heather Langenkamp. 3, Neve Campbell. 2, Janet Leigh. And 1, Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, there's loads of other horror actresses I probably could have added. I probably should have added Linda Blair. I mean, come on. Again, it's one of the most creepiest on-screen kids you'll see. The late Heather O'Rourke in the Poltergeist films, that's a good one. Let's see. Shawnee Smith is a good one. Shannon Elizabeth been loads of her stuff. Rob Zombie's wife, Sherry Moon Zombie. There's also Adrienne Barbeau, speaking of The Fog. Marilyn Burns from Texas Chainsaw is a good one. Let's see. Vera Farmiga from the Conjuring franchise, and she was also an orphan. Jenny Levy appeared in loads of horror stuff.
Thank you.
Shalene Simons, who of course ends up getting a gruesome, pretty much gruesome death in Final Destination 3 and Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. So yeah, she's a pretty good one. Betsy Palmer. I mean, I probably should have added Jason Voorhees' mom in this. Lee Perkins, from Ginger Snap fan. Any of my Ginger Snap fans here? Yeah, there's some really great horror actresses. I mean, I think horror actresses are actually more better than horror movie actors at times, to be honest with you. Because, you just love a good scene where, females are screaming and all that, and who doesn't love that? Anyway, let me leave to you guys. Who are some of your favorite horror movie actresses of all time? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. This here is Team Movie signing off.